Hello, welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at a stamp set in the annual catalogue, which is Beautiful Day. Now, I've had this stamp set quite a long time, so mine is actually one of the old wooden blocks, but they are now in the cling, which is absolutely lovely. And we're going to take this floral image here, Always Thinking of You, and we're going to have some fun with a candle. So just a clear white candle, and we're going to do some wax resist. So we just need a piece of cardstock, and I've got some scrap paper underneath because we're going to need that. So I'm just going to take the lovely floral one out, and as I say, mine I've had a long time, so it's one of the original wooden ones, but as I say, we now do it in cling, and we are going to do it in a good black ink. So just ink it up well. It's got lovely wide borders round it, which is really rather nice, and so we're going to just stamp it. We'll take the first one up at the top, just like that. Then we'll take, I think we'll do 3. So just ink that up, and we'll take another one and just do that down on that side, and we'll have another one just down on the other side. Now you can mask it if you want, but you don't really need to. We're just going to put it so that it comes, let's put it down like that on that side, and we've just got these nice 3 in there, so that's all we need from there. And I'm just going to clean that off with my Simply Chamois. And then we can put that back in its case. But this is a lovely stamp set that, as I say, has been around for a little while. But you've got the lovely flower and you've got the butterfly. And I've used it a lot over the years. But it's one that I thought, I'm going to get it out again and to do something, because it's nice to use things from the annual catalogue and do something a little bit different. So while we're waiting for this to dry a little bit, I'm just going to stamp the sentiment, which is Always Thinking of You, and again I'm going to do that in the black ink. So let's just put that on here, and we'll have Always Thinking of You, which is rather nice. I like the font on this as well. It's a very pretty font. We have some lovely sentiments which are so perfect for all sorts of things at this moment. You know, we can't always get to see our family and our relatives and things like that at the moment, which, you know, if you live on your own like I do, it can be quite difficult, but we can use modern technology and FaceTime and things like that, and we can also send them cards and things with little messages and things inside, so that you know, they know that we're thinking of them. So right, now we've got this done, I'm just going to put that to one side and we'll use that later. And now we're going to take our wax crayon, and what we're going to do is we are going to very simply, now obviously I've got the top on this, but it doesn't really matter, I'm using it as a pen, and I am just going to draw around, and it doesn't have to be overly precise, but we're literally just going round each one of these flowers as near to the stamped edge as you can. So just taking it through. Now if you want to sharpen this, you will get a slightly finer line if you want a finer line. I'm not worried about the fine line because I think it adds to the look. So we're just literally just drawing round with the wax. If you've got wax crayons, you can use those, but most of us will have a candle of some sort. So This one I'm just sort of going around the outside of that as well, of the leaf, and then on each one of these just going round. And as I say, I'm not being overly precise. You can be as precise as you want, but for this particular look you don't really need to be overly precise. Okay, so we've just got this one to do here. So again, you're just drawing round with the wax crayon around to where the edges of these are, and as I say, it doesn't have to be overly precise. It gives the look that we want, and you'll be able to see when we've done it how it sort of turns out. So literally I'm just going round the outside pieces, the outside of this leaf, and although you won't be able to see it on the camera, I can see where the line is where I've done the wax. So, and as I say, we all have candles knocking about, so it's a great technique to do with things that we've got around the house. Okay, so that's all we need our candle for now. So I'm just going to rub off a little bit of the wax if it's sort of gone on there. Then we need our aqua painter, and we're going to use, we've got crushed curry, we've got calypso coral, and I've got coastal cabana, and I think I might actually use, because it's a bit brighter, sorry, just moving my light a bit, let me just put that back up there, then it's not going to make the thing wobble. Okay, so I'm actually using Daffodil Delight for this because I want it to be a nice sort of bright spring card. So I'm just taking a palette of the Daffodil Delight and then the aqua painter, and you want a reasonable amount or just a little bit of water on there so it's not too it's fairly loose. And then all you're going to do is you are going to colour in around each one, and again where the wax is there it won't show, and you'll get this lovely sort of resist bits going on, which is quite fun. So literally just take some colour up and put it over the top. It's a very quick and easy technique, but it does look really rather pretty when we finish the whole thing off. So that's that one. Turn it round and do the other one. Now you can blend in several colours if you want to. I'm just doing this as a very simple idea for you. And you can do this on all sorts of different images. As I say, if you use a sharpener or a knife to get a finer point, you'll get a finer look to this. But for this particular technique, you don't need it to be particularly fine, because you'll see as I'm painting this through that you don't get any ink on the bits that you've put the wax candle on. So let's take this round on here. I think I should just about have enough. This one in on here, that one in on there. So I think that's probably, that'll do on there, which is perfect. Now I am going to just take a piece of kitchen roll and clean my brush off on here, because you don't want the colours mixing in one to the other. So literally just sort of wipe it across until it starts to come clean. We can then clean this one off on here, and we're going to use the Calypso Coral. And again, we only need a tiny little bit of this, so I'm just doing a little corner because we just want to do the inside of the flower in the Calypso Coral. And again, it's just a quick sort of wash over to give that in the inside. So as you can see, you only need a tiny little bit of that. So brush it till your aqua paint comes nice and clean. And now we need a green. So I think I'm going to use, whoops, there's me doing the things. What green am I going to use? I think I'm going to have Granny Apple Green, because that's quite a nice sort of bright, vibrant green. So let's just get that one out. And again, we don't need a lot. We've only got a couple of leaves, so just a little bit in the corner will be perfect. And then I can just pick that up, and we can just go in, round in on the leaf, and you can see that where the wax crayon is, it just resists on those pieces. So you have some nice sort of white pieces as well as the green pieces in on there. Right, so those are those done. Then what we need to do is, let's get that nice and clean. Take that one off. We're going to get some Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to give a reasonable bit of the Coastal Cabana on here. And this, we need to have quite a reasonable amount of water on it. So let me just get a good old drop of water coming through like that, and then we can put it through so that it's really quite nice and loose on here. And then we're just going to start at the top and just bring this through round on the edge. And this is why you want it fairly loose, because then it will go through quite nicely. And we'll just bring it all the way down. Across on here. And because we've done the wax crayon as well, you'll find that it doesn't go through on the edges, which is quite nice. I'm just bringing it up on here. So just work your way through, picking up a little bit of colour as you go, but as long as you keep it fairly wet, it will it'll blend through quite nicely. As I say, you can turn it round so that you bring it down where you want, and it's not going to go so that it's not you get streaky bits in. Sometimes if my aqua painter is too dry, you'll find that it leaves sort of little streaky bits rather than it coming through quite nicely. But if your aqua paint is wet enough, it'll come through quite well. Okay, so that's the top bit in on there. Just need to bring it down through on these pieces. Some more colour in on here. And say, because the lines are quite wide on this stamped image, it goes through quite nicely. So these little bits here, you can just blend them through a little bit more. There we go. So now you've got your lovely image, and you can now see where the white of the candle gives a really nice sort of wax resist on there, which is quite pretty. So those are the colours that we used, which was Coastal Cabana, Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and Coastal Cabana for the background, which has made a really nice sort of bright coloured card. And then we can put our sentiment across on there. So I'm just going to very quickly just cut this down, and I'm doing it with scissors. You can do it obviously with your trimmer, but I think I should be all right with this. So take that on here, bring that down this way, like that. It's probably not quite straight, but it'll do, I think. It'll do. So, and we can have that on there, always thinking of you. And if you want to just take the corners off, what you can do is to take a piece of scrap paper like this, take your Coastal Cabana and your block again. You'll have to excuse me if my washing machine's making terrible noises. It's I've just got some washing in, so it's just on its spin again. It's one of those things, isn't it? It always decides to spin just when you're in the middle of doing your video. So on this, what I'm doing is I'm just doing this across like this to give a wash of that colour. And then let me have a look at my sentiment and see how big it is. We want it just a little bit deeper than that, so just bring it up on the top and bring it down on the bottom like this. There we go. And then you can, I will clean that off in a minute, and then you can put this, so we can just use a little bit of wet glue and put this down on here. Always find it easier to do it if I stick it on first and then take the pieces off that I don't want. So I'm just taking that in like that. So that gives us just a little bit of wash at the background, and then we can, now I would have waited just a little bit longer for it to dry because obviously it's a little bit wet, but then what we can do is we can just trim that round, just giving a little bit of a border around on there. And then you've got your border, which is exactly the same colour as your background. So rather than putting it on cardstock, you can just colour it with your aqua painter and you've got it the same colour, and then we can put that in over the top like that and put it on. Let me have a look and see what backgrounds. Okay, we've got a couple here, so we could put it on black or we could put it on Coastal Cabana. So let's have a look on black. Will bring it out really quite a lot, so it brings out the black. The Coastal Cabana will make it just a little bit more spring-like, I think. So let's just put that in on there. Yes, I think that that will be nicer, and then just pop your little sentiment in on the centre like that, and you've got a really nice sweet card. Very simple and easy to achieve. I did one earlier on and I just added a few more on there, so you've got this one has got 3 on there, and then I took a sentiment from can't remember what it was. I was talking about it the other day, which is far apart but close at heart. So that's just another one where I've done a few more on there, so you can do as many as you want. You can take it up, but very easy, very pretty, and another way of using just a stamp set and a normal ordinary wax candle. So thank you so much for watching me. Do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.